What's going to raise the sea levels is primarily Greenland and Antarctica. Together, they're more than 90 meters of ice.
A small rise in sea level, just 10 meters, would submerge much of Florida and the East Coast. It would displace 25% of the entire population of the United States.
You might want to consider not living in a low-lying coastal area if you're intending to hold on to your land for a while, because that land might be gone.
Some scientists postulate an even more extreme rise in sea levels, up to 90 meters. That would create a truly biblical catastrophe. London, Venice, Amsterdam, Berlin, even Paris would be underwater.
Once you force a climate system with greenhouse gases, with what's been observed, over the past 100 or so years, you get this amplified warming.
At the same time, the Earth will be ravaged by fearsome superstorms.
Hurricanes feed on warm ocean water. The oceans are warming up. And so therefore it makes sense that we ought to see more intense hurricanes as we move into the future. We're going to see more intense or extreme weather events of other types, for example, thunderstorms. We put this all together and we're seeing a picture of change that humankind is going to have to deal with.
People in developing countries would be affected first. Hundreds of thousands could perish. But nations like the United States are far from immune.
I think we have this arrogance that, oh, in the Western world we're fine, we can deal with any sort of climate change. But, you can look at things like Katrina happening, and we weren't prepared for that. But the reality is I think we're all vulnerable on the planet.
Whether or not we're ready for global warming is a matter of conjecture. But there's no way to prepare for the next sign, a global war that will wipe out most of humanity. The final battle between good and evil. Revelation calls it Armageddon. The final mystery of the seven signs is extremely complex. The book of Revelation is full of dreamlike symbolic imagery and hidden clues.
Bible prophecy is really advanced intelligence from the mind of an all-knowing, all-seeing God. Just like intelligence at the CIA, where you have a little piece of information from one source and a little piece from another, and you have to put it together and connect the dots, Bible prophecy is this way also.
Another factor adding to the complexity of the seven signs is that there are more than 7 disasters contained within the seven signs.
We've got 3 sets of 7 judgments. 7 seems to be the perfect number. It's referred to the number that relates to God, as opposed to the Antichrist, whose number is 666.
There is more than one interpretation of the prophecy, which is why others have abused it to mislead followers to their own deaths. Even some religious scholars are unsure about the exact interpretation of the seven signs.
Whether these things are literal or somewhat symbolic, I think we'll just have to wait and see. We've had plagues, we've had famines previously in human history, so whether these are the exact things that God is bringing about in this age to prepare for this generation, having these judgments, that is just something that we can't speculate on.
But one thing that is clear is the climactic judgment in the book of Revelation. The final sign, Armageddon.
And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him, and against his army.
According to Revelation, the first horseman of the apocalypse reappears, the Antichrist. He has come to confront Jesus himself. It is the final battle between God and Satan. Good versus evil.
This war is just horrific in its magnitude. All the nations of the earth will converge at that moment.
Armageddon refers to a specific location.
In the nation of Israel, there is a mountain called Har Megiddo, which means the mountain of Megiddo. And there have been 21 battles for control of that spot. Nations and empires have fought time and time again
The prophecy of Armageddon has left its mark on history. Some of those battles are fought by crusaders from the 11th through the 13th century. Many of these Christian warriors believe they are, in fact, fulfilling the violent prophecy of the seven signs.
The Crusades were